football never disappoints when it comes to serving up its usual dose of excitement and shockers, does it? Each match day, we're either gasping in disbelief or exclaiming, "Did that really just happen?" Every match brings its mix of highs and lows, and for every jaw-dropping or cringe-worthy moment we witness, there's always another that's just as impactful or even more so. And yep, there are those moments that make us wonder if we've hit a new low in sportsmanship. This season? Oh, it's been a roller coaster of controversies and drama, so much that it's a challenge to keep track of everything. Here's a look at 6 most disrespectful moments in football this season. Vinicius Jr. versus Barcelona. Now, there aren't a lot of matches that are more watched worldwide than El Clasico. This is mostly because it's an age-long rivalry between two of the biggest clubs in the world. The El Clasico matches UPS peaked during the era of Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, but even the exit of the two superstars could not reduce the sky-high tension between Barcelona and Real Madrid every time they have matched up since then. Their recent meeting happened during the Spanish Super Cup final, and it delivered on every aspect. The match ended 4-1 in favor of Real Madrid, and Vinicius Jr. put on one heck of a show for Real Madrid against their arch-rivals. The Brazilian scored not 1, not 2, but 3 goals to win the Spanish Super Cup for Real Madrid. Barcelona looked clueless throughout the match, and to make matters worse, finished the game with 10 men after defender Ronald Araujo got sent off after 2 awful tackles on, well, you guessed it, Vinicius Jr. That's definitely a day Barcelona would rather forget, but for football fans, it's moments like these that make the game unforgettable. Antony versus Jeremy Doku. One of the most anticipated matchups in the Premier League is the Manchester Derby. Fans of the two teams are always eager to prove to the other side that Manchester is either red or blue. But recently, the Derby has been pretty one-sided, with the blue side of Manchester dominating in most of the matchups. The first Manchester Derby this season was no different, with Manchester City winning the game 3-0. If you're a Manchester United fan, I can imagine how frustrating that can be. But it was even more frustrating for the players on the pitch, with the game reaching its tipping point after Antony fouled and kicked Jeremy Doku out of frustration. The more relaxed Doku was, the angrier Antony got, and eventually he was shown a yellow card for his efforts. I guess the acclaimed Brazilian was mad that Doku could attempt and complete a dribble. Some people are real professional footballers, Antony. A solid performance from Doku in a 3-0 trashing was a big enough slap on Antony's face, but the Belgian just had to throw in one last punch. After the match, the winger went on Twitter and reminded the Red Devils which side owns Manchester, with a pic of the encounter captioned, "Stay calm. Manchester is blue. Ouch, sorry, United." Darwin Núñez versus Pep Guardiola. When two of the best coaches managing two of the best teams in football get together in a face-off, there is always entertainment. So, when Liverpool and Manchester City met in the Premier League earlier this season, people expected nothing less from this encounter. Luckily for us, it delivered, just not how we expected. After City took the lead in the first half courtesy of a brilliant strike from Erling Haaland, it took a dying-minute stunner from Alexander-Arnold to salvage a point for Liverpool. After a very entertaining encounter between the two sides, the real entertainment happened after the match, when Darwin Núñez and Guardiola had a huge clash that was curbed before it escalated. Darwin Núñez went for a handshake with Guardiola after the match, and proceeded to taunt the City coach by saying City were lucky to escape with a draw. I'm paraphrasing, but that's the main gist. The Uruguayan striker, with more misses than a blind man in target practice, went to one of the best coaches in the history of the game and told him he was lucky. If I were Pep, I'd be ditching the coat for a baseball bat. Then, he'll feel what it's like to be smacked by two sports. Thankfully, other people stepped in before the whole shindig escalated. Now, before we dive into more football drama, let's take a quick halftime break. If you're enjoying this video, why not show your support by hitting the like button? It's easier than scoring an open goal, and you won't get a yellow card for celebrating too hard. And if you want to be the MVP of our channel, smash that subscribe button and join our league of extraordinary viewers. Trust me, it's more satisfying than a last-minute winner. Ready for the second half? Let's get back into the video. Jude Bellingham versus Mason Greenwood. You would imagine two players who represent the same country and are regarded as one of the best of their generation would get along better, but football has a way of bringing out the worst in us. After Mason Greenwood completed a loan move to Getafe in 2023, the English forward has looked as sharp as ever, like he didn't miss 20 months of footballing action. So, when Real Madrid met Getafe earlier this year, the winger constantly threatened the Madrid defense with his deadly pace and dribbling skills. During one of such moments, he had to be stopped by Jude Bellingham, who resorted to a gruesome tackle to curb the threat. Of course, this would result in an argument, and it did, with each player's teammates stepping in. The clash got more heated after Jude mouthed something to Greenwood that got him angrier. An investigation was opened based on the claims that Bellingham called Greenwood a rapist during that brief spat, and it was eventually dropped for lack of concrete evidence. The investigation committee claimed it was hard to decipher whether Bellingham said rapist or rubbish, and couldn't make a decision based on the video. The whole thing was very sketchy, seeing as football isn't an excuse to call someone else rapist or rubbish, and Jude was very unprofessional either. Another unfair decision, like leaving this video without hitting that like and subscribe button. Bruno Guimaraes and Joe Willock versus Arsenal. Like we always like to say, football doesn't just give us great moments. The game we love so much can be very mean as well, and this is one such case. One quick question before we go further. What is the biggest problem football has faced throughout the history of this sport? Let's see if you get it right before the reveal. Moving on. Newcastle met Arsenal earlier this season, and if I were to describe this match with just a word, dramatic. A match that was riddled with many VAR errors and refereeing mistakes had more drama than a Kardashian reality show. Eventually, the game ended 1-0 in favor of Newcastle, courtesy of a controversial goal from Anthony Gordon, and let's just say it didn't go well with a lot of Arsenal fans. The goal had a lot of question marks, and Arsenal fans were very angry with the officials in the game, and rightfully so. But while some fans chose to express their anger in a civil way, some of them did the complete opposite. After the game, some Arsenal fans took to Instagram to racially abuse Bruno Guimaraes and Joe Willock, two crucial players in the Newcastle victory. And once again, we were reminded that some people don't deserve to be called fans. By the way, that was the answer to our question. Racism. Let us know if you got it right in the comments. Cristiano Ronaldo versus Al-Shabaab. There aren't a lot of players who enjoy shutting people up more than Cristiano Ronaldo does. And even though the 39-year-old currently enjoys his football in Saudi Arabia with Al Nassr, the Portuguese superstar has shown that age doesn't rid you of some things. During a Saudi Pro League matchup between Al Nassr and Al-Shabaab, the Portuguese made headlines for a controversial gesture once again. In an attempt to throw Ronaldo off his game, the Al-Shabaab fans kept chanting Messi's name throughout the match and kept provoking Cristiano. In a fitting moment of karma, Ronaldo's teammate Talisca scored the winning goal to give Al Nassr a 3-2 victory over Al-Shabaab. Most people would be content with the victory, but Ronaldo had to send a message to the Al-Shabaab fans as a reminder of who he is. So after the match ended, the Portuguese cupped his ears and made a very provoking gesture directed at the Al-Shabaab fans, which opened a can of worms. As a result, he was fined 30,000 Saudi riyals, which is approximately £6,300 by the Saudi Arabian Football Federation, and banned for one match as well. Sometimes, it's easier to let things go, Cristiano. A lesson I'm guessing he learned after his team failed to overcome their next challenge without him, and was held to a draw in their next game a few days later. The draw happened for several reasons, but who knows, maybe Ronaldo could have been the game changer for Al Nassr and given them the 3 points they desperately needed. Oh well, I guess we'll never know. So guys, that's it for today on this video. Were you entertained? Because I sure was. Let us know which moment you consider the most disrespectful in the comments below, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to join the Kickverse family. It's been a great time with y'all, and we'll see you in the next video. See you next time.